Hey everyone, and welcome to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show that I do live every Friday Eastern Standard Time at 10 a.m., which means we have a lot of people in the chat right now, which genuinely thank you for everyone who shows up to this. It's crazy how many people are talking in the chat right now. We've got Travis K, Travis Schramm, DFLJ, Ken Nichols, Sean Chambers, Stony, Old Fat Guy BMX. Who else is in here? Flippin' Zengi, James Ovens, Steve Sven, Jeff Mead. I'll be at Rumble in Richmond. Will you? Tech, Tim Oliver. Sup, Tim Oliver. The Cron. So many people. I appreciate the fact that people are hanging out and tuning in for this BMX news. And obviously, everybody knows what I have to talk about first. It's a huge, sad thing that I genuinely don't even know how to talk about. I thought about trying to prepare to talk about this, but I don't know how to do it. We've seen what happened. Pat Casey passed away. All I know about how it happened, because it seems like everybody talks and wants to know how did it happen. All I know is that it was dirt bike related and that it was at Axel Hodges' place. That's all that I know. But with that being said, the amount of support and what's the word? Community being shown from the BMX world, the amount of people who are posting about this, saying so many nice things and posting videos and just so much stuff. And then the GoFundMe and the meal train. There's so much stuff that has brought people together. I hope this. Okay, cool. I forgot to put one thing on here. All right. Anyways, it's amazing to see how many people have come together to just, I don't know, give good words and positivity and condolences for Pat Casey. When I think about what happened, I don't know. I don't think about everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people are posting about BMX losing a legend and BMX is never going to be the same. But when I see something like this happen, I think about the fact that he had kids who are never going to see their dad again. His wife, never going to see him again. They have to go through literally the entire rest of their lives without this person who was there for the whole part, the whole of his kids' lives, and it sucks. It sucks a lot. It sucks to see it, and the impact that Pat Casey had on BMX was so evident, not only for the tricks that he did, the fact that he was a warrior when it came to the stuff that he did on his bike, the crashes that he would take in his videos and that we would see, and then the successful tricks being landed after those crashes. Just, he sent it in a calculated way, and he's been killing it since he was young. I remember young fluffy hair Pat Casey videos of him, just absolutely amazing, and all of the people who he impacted through riding his bike and then having a ramp and trails in his backyard, which gave people a place to come together and people to ride. I mean, we've seen hundreds of people who have ridden Pat Casey's backyard. X Games was in Pat Casey's backyard, and that's incredible. It made me wonder what's going to happen with the ramps and the trails, and I really hope that people are able to keep them going. It's understandable if not, and if maybe the family doesn't want that to happen, but I hope that we can see people shredding the ramps. I mean, his son still shreds. His son is absolute wild child on a bike. So with that being said, there's a lot of different places you can go to read what people had to say about Pat Casey. Every BMX media outlet posted about it, and I felt like what Jamie Bestwick posted on his Instagram was such a great and well worded statement, and I feel like tribute is the correct word. Thank you, Crandall, for that comment. Uh, yeah, Travis, I saw that there was a session at Pat Casey's backyard, and Reed was there, and a bunch of people went out to ride with him. And man, I, like you said, I can't imagine how that went. Seriously, can't even remotely imagine how that went. But I'm not gonna link any of the posts on any of the BMX media sites. If you want to read about that, you can go find it. The only stuff that is going to be linked to do with this in the description at the very top are the GoFundMe and the meal train, which are already incredible. Almost $40,000 raised of a $5,000 goal. Almost a little over $25,000 raised of a $2,500 goal for meal train, which is food. So it's one less thing that the family will have to worry about in this situation. They shouldn't have to worry about anything in this situation. So those are what will be linked in the description down below. And I know I've seen a lot of people saying long live Pat Casey, and every session from here on forward will be for Pat Casey. And I know that every single one of those people will live that. And I never got to meet Pat, so I don't have a personal connection with him. But what I see is all of the BMX community coming together, regardless of what type of rider, where they ride, where they're from, who, or anything like that. Just a community coming together to mourn the loss of someone who did everything in BMX. He had dirt jumps in his yard. He had a skate park in his yard. He rode street. He did everything, and he did it exceptionally well. So with that being said, you don't have to look hard to find anything about this online. There's news stuff about it. There's posts on websites. It's all over the place. And I just hope that we continue to see Reed killing it if he wants to on his bike, and just absolutely shredding the way he does. That kid in the videos that we see just sends it. And it's awesome to see. And I really hope that we can see that continue. And I hope that the family can just live as normal of a life as they possibly can without Pat around. And with that being said, we're going to move on from this story. The GoFundMe, the meal train will be linked in the description down below right after I finish this live stream. So if you want to check those out and donate, they will be there. Next, we get into the videos from this week, which there was a lot of videos and a lot of long ones to watch as well. The first up, starting at the shortest and going to the longest video, is Glenn's Narfest BMX Jam. This went down out in California, and it was done by Vans Bicycle Center. I think Glenn might be one of the guys or the owner. NorCal's Scenes Appreciation of our very own Glenn. So I'm not sure. I haven't met Glenn, but I think there might have been a shot of him, I would assume. Either way, this video's here. It's super short. Then we had a video with Pat Falco and Clint Miller. Volo Park session. It's an indoor skate park in Australia, and this one is sick. Clint Miller not only does a 360 downside nose pick whip over that spine wedge. I don't know what you call it. He also does a double nose pick whip. Pat, the last clip, this is the thumbnail, is from the last clip. It's totally mind-blowing and worth watching the entire video for on its own. So check it out. Then we've got Ride UK's coverage of the Butcher Jam 2023. Highlights from all of the different events at this event. So check that out if you didn't watch everything else from last week, or you just want a quick highlights, because it's like, yeah, it's 2.5 minutes long. Next up, we have Hyper at Bentonville Bike Fest. Lots of hyper stuff going on here with lots of different hyper riders, including R. Willie, riding these huge dirt jumps. There's a airbag, lots of stuff to check out if you want to. Then Odyssey guest list with Gary Young and Corey Martinez. This video is fun. The concept is an Odyssey rider brings a non-affiliated rider to the full factory ramps at the full factory warehouse, and they just shred. And that is what they did. And both of these dudes absolutely just shut it down. And it was super, super good video. Definitely worth watching if you're either a Gary Young or Corey Martinez fan. And I don't know how you could be one without being both. Next, a video welcoming Yuda Tamanaga. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce names, but welcoming this rider to kink. And this is a really well-rounded video as well. Skate park riding, box jump, jumping tricks, as well as street riding, some brake tricks in here, lip tricks. Well-rounded video from someone I had never heard of. And this is definitely a good video if you want to watch something that has pretty much everything except trails in it from someone you may not have heard of before, but will probably be seeing more of now that person is riding for kink. Next up, you're welcome, Mikey Andrew Nibbles. So this video is the one that Mikey talked about when I did a podcast with him last week. He talked about this one as well as several others that he was working on. And this is a really solid video between the super technical riding, so many different things that just don't make sense combination wise, as well as some burly stuff, jumping off roofs and doing what Mikey or Milky does. And it was definitely an enjoyable watch. The fact that there's 31 people in here right now has me stoked. Thank you all for tuning in. Next, the BMX event highlights. You'd no doubt seen some type of coverage before the BMX event from Vish, whether it was he and Dak building the convertible ledge that goes from a flat ledge to an up ledge, or some type of post online. Doing mainline and flip-flops needs to be on the news. That's funny. Trails. But this is the highlights from the event. This video is just banger after banger after banger after banger from every single California shredder that you know and love, with Denim Cox in a neck brace, talking about something about he broke his neck. So I hope Denim Cox is healing up okay, but he's there as well, just not riding. Garrett Reynolds was there. Too many crazy tricks to list, so you're gonna have to just watch it. After that, we talked, I think it was last week, about the 1030D DVD. They came out as over an hour long. This is poor homie Rich in his section that was uploaded to the Cult YouTube channel. This one is over 10 minutes long, and if there's a list of underrated riders in BMX right now, this dude is on it. I mean, he rides for Cult, and a lot of people know who he is, but I feel like with the magnitude of the stuff that he is doing and the technical things that he's doing as well, just I feel like the dude doesn't get as much love as he should. He gets a lot of love, and it seems like everybody likes him. I just think he deserves more. That's all. He deserves more. And when you watch this section, there's so much insane, burly stuff in here. Tech Blade. This is live. It's real. There's so much burly stuff in this, as well as just so much super technical stuff. And it's 10 minutes long. It's a very solid video part. And I think anybody who can appreciate BMX in general, any type of riding, you'll like this one. Check it out. Next, Moroccan Procedure. So this is the Procedure crew from out in the UK taking a trip to Morocco. And this is the rider lineup right here. Boom, if it wants to highlight. All of these shredders are in this video riding in Morocco. So if you want to see what gets down in Morocco, as far as spot-wise, culture-wise, check it out. Then, another video we talked about in the Milky podcast, the Young Buck frame promo video from Fit. It's called Buckin' Round the Bay. It's with Mikey, Milky Andrew, Cole Volker, and Max Miller. This video goes off. There are three separate sections in here. The first is Max, the second is Cole, then Mikey rounds it out, and they're all amazing. All three of these dudes can be extremely technical and go huge at the same time, and I love to see it. Everything, I don't know, it's just a really solid video. Stu Johnson filmed and edited it, and if you want to see Max Miller dropping off of huge things, and if you want to see Cole Volker going huge and doing the most perfect backwards tuck no-handers and huge bar to fakie on a quarter, as well as huge street stuff, then Milky with his triple kinker down a rail to 180 out. I think it was 180 out, or just so much stuff in here. Bombing a hill as fast as possible. It's worth watching. I definitely feel like it's worth watching. And if you watch this and you want to buy a Young Buck frame or literally anything from Fit or S&M, you can use my code BRANT, all caps, at the link in the description and save 10% as well as help me out at the same time. We talk a lot about the Young Buck frame in the podcast. So if you want to learn more about that frame, check this video out. I'm sure it's linked in the description to buy it, and you can watch the podcast to hear the background on it. Then we've got Mayhem in Amsterdam from Monster. So there's a series that Monster has been working on or doing called the Cash Up Jam series. And the concept behind this is that it's 5 jams across the world with the common goal of having some fun and putting cash in people's hands while doing it. Sounds pretty cool. So first up, there was the June 3rd event, Mayhem in Amsterdam. Then June 17th in Cologne, Germany, Felix Prangenberg's Hammer and Nails Fest at this custom built setups for We the People Best Trick. Then June 23rd through 25th, there's a stacked weekend at the Gade BMX Street Jam. July 15th, San Diego, California. The BMX Day Jam that is going on, planned by Our BMX. And then in Sydney, Australia, with Lewis Mills, there will be another one, but the date and the details have yet to be announced. Next up, the S&M Bikes 9 Acres series continues with the Caddy Flatties, the Hallahans going out and shredding at Caddy. Check it out if you want something a little bit longer. 15 minutes. Sounds cool. Next up, another one out of the Pittsburgh area, at least from someone in the Pittsburgh area as well. The Hallahans are from Pittsburgh, if you didn't know. But Yorkburg 3. Aiden Keller put this one together. He's an up-and-coming shredder from the Pittsburgh area. It's riders from Pittsburgh, New York City, Rochester, Buffalo, and Cleveland. And it's his almost 40-minute long video that he put together. I haven't had a chance to check this one out yet, but I love to see someone younger taking a stab at making a full-length video at a young age and just being this stoked on BMX enough to where it's worth, and he wants to put all this effort in, because making a full-length video is not easy. From the filming to the writing to the editing to just getting it out there, it's pretty rad to see. And I was also stoked that when I went to the YouTube page to grab the link, it has 660 views. It's pretty cool to see. 660 people watching a 40-minute long video is a lot, and that is rad. So hopefully you'll make another, Aiden. Next, the podcast stuff from this week. First up, Unclicked Podcast with Brett Silva. Timestamps are as follows right here. You want to learn more about Brett Silva? This is the podcast for it. Then we've got Kevin Corrali on the Canode Nose podcast. Didn't get to listen to any podcasts this week. I was on a work trip, but I'm sure that both of these are good listens. Then last Friday, Chris Moeller went onto the S&M YouTube channel for Factory Friday to just do a Q&A. It ended up going for like 2.5 hours. Chris answered, or 2 hours, 17 minutes, and every single question that was asked pretty much was answered in here with a lot of insight, and it was definitely a great listen. I was just listening for the entire thing after I did the news, and I thought it was really enjoyable. So if you want to check that one out, or anything else that I talked about today, the GoFundMe and meal train for Pat Casey's family, it's all going to be linked in the description down below right after I end this live stream. There is a BMX Jam going on in Detroit. It's a street jam tomorrow, as well as the AFA event going on in Michigan tomorrow. And in Ohio, there's a skate park jam going down at a recently finished outdoor skate park in Alliance, Ohio, that's going down tomorrow, as well as I'm sure a bunch of other stuff around the country. If you have an event going on tomorrow, leave it in the comments. And if you're in any of those areas, you want to come out and shred in Ohio, come hang out. With that being said, I appreciate all of you hanging out. There's still 26 people in this live stream for the news, and that is sick. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow for another video. And I just want to let you guys know, when I was at the Buckeye Bike Show last Saturday, I filmed a bike check with Eddie Fiola, and that will be coming soon. So get stoked, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.